Hi everybody, I'm Justin Guarini and we are here at the Gershwin Theater where I get to play Fiyero 8 times a week in Broadway's smash musical, Wicked. I'm so excited that People.com is here because we are going to check out some cool stuff behind the scenes. Come on. In our cast, we have about 30 different actors who have to play 60 or more different parts, and sometimes they have to change in 30 seconds or a minute and go right back out on the stage. So we have these little things called quick change booths where all of their costumes are, where they can rip off clothes, have their dresser rip off clothes and put something back on and shove them right back out on stage. One of the cool things about playing different characters on Broadway is that you get the opportunity sometimes to wear different wigs. We're in the hair department. Many of the wigs, including Elphaba's wig, the iconic Dorothy wig, sit and stay until someone needs them. Okay, everybody, we are in Elphaba's dressing room. Now, she's on stage right now, but I wanted to show you something really quickly. Here is Elphaba's dress. It is absolutely gorgeous, detailed, and weighs like 20 pounds. Elphaba has to cart this thing around stage 8 shows a week. The most iconic feature of Elphaba's outfit, her hat, in a special elevated position where it should be. I have one of the most iconic elements associated with the witch, her broom, and it even has little hand grips for her so she doesn't slip. It ends up flying its way into the show. Now, Wicked is filled with a lot of fun, a lot of music, and a lot of magic. One of the simple magic effects in this show is all the smoke. And the thing that makes all of that happen is dry ice. We have about 4 buckets here and a shovel where someone just comes and shovels it into a machine and it gets pumped out on the stage and it looks like the really cool smoke and ground effects that you get to see. This is my home away from home, my dressing room. Sometimes I like to write little reminders for myself. Everything louder. Core, turf, life is fraughtless when you're thoughtless, because I would always screw that up every single night. I'm so glad that you and People.com got to stop by and see some of the magic of Wicked. My matinee is like in a half hour, so I gotta get out of here and warm up. Take care, and I'll see you on the stage. Hello, 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 Facebook family. What's up? It's day 26 of the 30-day live Facebook challenge, my live challenge. I hope you're doing really well. That piece that you just saw was something that I did for People a while ago. They came backstage, obviously showed some things. I had a little less hair and a lot more dignity back then, but life was good. That was probably about 5 years ago, something that I did that. So I'm excited that you got to see that. It was always fun to go back and revisit Oz, and that is part of what I'm doing tonight. Before I get to what tonight is all about, hey, if you're a performer, a singer, an actor, a dancer, a parent, a loved one, a sibling of a singer, actor, or dancer, won't you ask them to, or you, register for the Artist Mindset Mastery Facebook group. The link is right above this video if you're on Facebook, right below this video if you're on YouTube. It is a phenomenal community of people who are not only talking about surviving this COVID-19 entertainment industry shutdown, but thriving, growing, being better than they were before the shutdown. Because guess what? It's coming back, folks. The industry has been through wars, famines, economic downturn, and it is coming back. And those who are prepared and ready for the new entertainment industry are the ones who are going to book the jobs. And it's those kinds of conversations that we have inside of the Artist Mindset Mastery private Facebook group. Also, we have some free content in there, some paid courses that we're going to be rolling out over the next few weeks. It is going to be super exciting. But tonight, I'm going to be sharing with you a few stories from Oz. Beyond Oz. If you watched in some of my other lives, I talk about a story, my ice bucket challenge story from Wicked, and how I got stuck on the roof of the Gershwin Theater where Wicked is on Broadway 8 shows a week. And so this one is more about actually behind the scenes. As you saw in the video, I have this lovely little dressing room, and that dressing room right there is very close to the stage. The configuration is almost like an L that goes down that way, and then the stage is all down here. And so I was right at the corner of the L, and it's interesting because that room is the smallest dressing room I think on that floor. And originally, when Starlight Express, the Andrew Lloyd Webber, I think it's Andrew Lloyd Webber, yeah, musical was there, that was the skate shop. Because of those of you who remember Starlight Express, they used inline skates, and that was the actual skate shop. But then, of course, Wicked came in, and they needed another dressing room, and it's Fiero's dressing room. But it's phenomenal. I love it. I'm not complaining. I'm just giving you a little bit of the visual. So I'm right there. One of the things that you should never, ever do when you are a Broadway performer is to be late. Ever. That is... the kiss could be the kiss of death to a show, not an entire show, but that night's performance, right? If you're late getting to where you are supposed to be by the time you're supposed to speak or do something, and look, it happens all the time. There are well, I shouldn't say it happens all the time, but it happens where performers are just late. They're just late into the scene. I'll never forget when I saw How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying with Matthew Broderick. And there's this scene where Matthew's character comes out, it's at the very end, and he comes out and everybody's clapping. They're at the line at the door, and they're all clapping for him. And he has to do this really super quick change. I didn't know that at the time. But there's like a row of three people, and they're all clapping, and they're all looking at the door. And they're all looking at each other and clapping. And just when I started to, pucker, Matthew Broderick comes out. And it was the weirdest thing. I knew something was wrong. I think I was 14 or 15 or something when I saw it. And I knew something was wrong, but I didn't have the experience of theater to know what exactly was wrong. And it wasn't until years later, until I made a late entrance, that I really understood why Matthew Broderick came out. And he was just like... like he was telepathically communicating with everyone on the stage and trying to make it look normal for everyone out in the audience. But my first of two late stories, I don't know what I was doing, but at the beginning of the musical, Fiero is pretty much not in it. Fiero doesn't come in until like, I want to say 20, 30 minutes into the show, something like that. It's a 3-hour tour. And so he comes in way late. But in the beginning, when you see the musical, they talk about the birth of Elphaba, and there's this bed that comes out. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. And there are two guards to either side of the bed who are holding lanterns and in weird wild hats and this very strange Ozian clothing, and they're doing this. And while it may look like they're just kind of guards and people there, our function really is to spin the bed. The bed spins, and there's different perspectives and whatnot, and we're just the ones to spin it, right? But we're dressed up, and it's all part of the tapestry of the show and the scene. And once more, my job as the left four-poster bed back guard is to pull a little ring up that releases the spinning mechanism for the bed, right? It's kind of like you spin it around and boom, it locks, and it doesn't unlock until you pull this spring. Well, I don't know why it happened. I don't know how it happened, but I was in my dressing room. I was talking to my dresser. I was doing something. I dare say I may have been playing Xbox, and I'll get to the reason why there is an Xbox in my dressing room, but I may have just gotten caught up in something. And all of a sudden I must have heard some music or something, and ba, 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 is how it begins. And so I was just like, oh, I got time, right? I got time before I need to be there. And somehow time slipped away from me. And it was that sort of like moment where I don't know what I was doing, but an alarm bell rang in my head, and it's very quiet out in the hallway. Normally it's loud, people are having a good time right before the show, super quiet. And I hear dialogue. I think of Galinda saying, and whatever she was saying about Elphaba's birth. And I'm like, oh, I'm still being the scene. And so in this large frock that I have, this wild hat, and my boots, which are Fiero boots. I'm dressed as Fiero underneath all of this stuff, so I don't have to actually get changed. But the bottom of those boots, they're these most Italian leather boots that he wears. And so I'm in these boots, and on Broadway we put special coating on the bottom of our shoes and a special sole on the bottom of our shoes so that's more tacky, so that we don't slip. And so I am booking around the L onto the stage, and of course my entrance was on the other side of the stage. And if you've ever been in the Gershwin, it's not a huge stage, but it's a very large stage. So I am booking past people who are looking at me. I am running past sets, past all the things, and I round the corner to get to my spot after before grabbing my lantern that I'm supposed to have. I round the corner and I slip and I fall and I eat the deck. I mean, I go full face straight down, whump, in the middle of the scene that's happening, and you can hear it off stage. And so I then pick myself up, begin to pick the chips of wood out of my teeth, grab the lantern, and I mean, everybody's on the stage at this point. They are fully mid-scene. And in this moment, instead of making the choice to walk out with confidence, or maybe walk out and just, look back at make some sort of acting choice to make some normalcy as to why this one person, while the spotlight is on like the shiniest woman on the stage in the big pink bubble dress, why this one guy just comes walking out in the dark. No, I didn't decide to do that. I just decided I'm going to tiptoe out, because it was exactly how I felt. And like, you remember those old like Tom and Jerry cartoons where like they're like when they're tiptoeing by? I mean, that's literally what I felt like. Some of the people who were on the stage, who are part of the show, were telling me afterwards that it took everything in their power not to completely lose it laughing on the stage, because I literally was just like the most conspicuous person walking out like the biggest a-hole, not making an acting choice, just being like, I am so sorry. It was the first time I've ever been late, and it was on Broadway in one of the biggest shows, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna get written up for this. So I eventually make it out and I look over at the guard who's next to me, and I give him a little nod and he nods back, and everybody's looking at me like, you're gonna get yelled at, mister. And so that was the very first time that I've ever been late on stage. And so I would love to just take a few comments, a few thoughts here before I go on. How you guys doing? Let's talk. Oh, let's see. Behind the show. Hey, hello, this is behind the scenes of the show. Yeah, it's a really beautiful show. Wicked is a fun show to do, and I get to play a character from The Wizard of Oz that I've always wanted to play in that show. I don't want to ruin it if you haven't seen it, but at the end of the show, that character comes to life and I get to play it. I've always wanted to play this character. And so it just has been so many great memories and so much fun from that. Must be fun to be fraughtlessly thoughtless. Yes, Lori, you're talking about, and I'll tell you a story about that too. Every single Fiyero that I've spoken to and that my friends have spoken to cannot remember the lyrics to Dancing Through Life. I mean, I performed Dancing Through Life, whatever it is from there. I mean, the only reason why I somewhat know the first Dancing Through Life, I can't remember it. I've taught like 16 counts worth of dance, the Fiyero's choreography, to a class, and I can't remember it. And there's something about that song, Dancing Through Life, that I performed it 8 shows a week for 9 months, and it just goes. And I had to write on my mirror in the dressing room. I had to write like, life is fraughtless when you're like is and like little thes and these, and it was just like, oh man, it was wild. It's absolutely wild. And that's the first time I really danced as much. Fiyero really has some beautiful movement, and it just is so much fun, and you're climbing up on stuff. It's such a fun role to play. But it's challenging, not only because you have to just dance. I mean, I consider myself an actor that moves, but you're actually at the Gershwin, you're actually dancing on what's called and moving on what's called a rake, which means normal stages, your high school stage is like this, right? But if I were to be facing you with that stage and you're the audience and this is the stage, the scenery is more pronounced, and it's easier to see things that are going on upstage here when it's a little bit tilted. And that's called a raked stage, right? It just gives you more options in terms of this. And right now, you can see the background and a lot of the scenery. And so not only am I having to dance and learn all these things, but I'm having to do it like not having had my V8. You got to do it like this. And there's literally a course that they teach you on how to stand on the rake stage so that it doesn't misalign your hips, right? Because if you think of this, my left foot, if I'm standing perpendicular to the audience, my left foot is a little bit higher than the right foot, and I have to lean. And there's all of these really interesting things and challenges that came from dancing on a stage that is not essentially level. Yeah, exactly. It's like, like Lori says, it's like like a bunny ski slope. Exactly. It was like dancing on a bunny slope, for sure. So the second time that I was late, as I continue to talk about from a few stories from Oz and beyond, was there, and it's very short. Again, I go back to the Xbox and talking about the Xbox and how I played it a lot there. And the reason why is Wicked is a 3-hour tour. And Fiyero, just like one of those characters in it that is about the ladies as it should be, right? The witches, that is there. And I just come and go, da, 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 and then I go sit. And then I come back out and, okay, great. And that's it. I mean, it's amazing. So my first entrance isn't until I think at least a half hour in the show. And then I go out and I'm out there for 15 minutes and then boom, I think sit for another 20 to maybe 30 minutes. And I go out and I do As Long As You're Mine and all that, like, whatever it is. I don't even remember. But like after I'm done that second number or scene or whatever it is, I have a break until after intermission. I mean, it literally is just like sitting there like a bump on a log. And so I brought my Xbox and I would play it. And then sometimes, I mean, I could make myself dinner in between. Like I was eating. People laughed at me because I would just walk around in my robe and just be like, hey, how you doing? Go visit some people. Like, have a nice time. It was because there was so much time. You just stay up, keep a little warm, play a little Xbox. And so I was in the middle of playing Xbox. Oh, and I was FIFA Soccer is my favorite Xbox game. And so I'm backstage again in my room in the costumeage, which is the second act look. And it's a very formal thing. And I'm playing Xbox. And all of a sudden I hear some dialogue. And I was like, this is just kind of tickles at the back of my brain. And then it's silence. And whenever there's silence, I mean, it's not rare, I want to say, on Broadway, but there's something about the absence of dialogue, not silence. Silence is a part of the play. I should say the absence of dialogue where there should be dialogue. And I've been doing the show for long enough. And so to get back to that point, there's something about the absence of dialogue or something, a musical cue, that just when you do enough theater, just kind of taps you in the back of your head. You're like, what's going on? So I've been in mid-conversation with people backstage in a routine as you get into, and somebody blows a line on stage or there's something goes wrong on stage and we'll be sitting and talking, and all of a sudden you're just like, what's going on? Like I don't know what it is, but that thing, that little muse, the whatever the god of theater is, tapped me on the head mid clackety clack. And I was like, oh no, I'm supposed to be on the balcony. So once again, I can't make it easy on myself. I can't miss something that's at the nearer side of the stage to enter on. I have to go through a very special, again, running down the L, have to go through a very special door. And it's like this sort of like, it's a part of the proscenium. There's a balcony to what would be audience left. Stage right or stage left, audience left rather, and stage right, audience right, and it sits up there, and it just the light comes up on it, it's this easy thing that looks like this beautiful thing with the staircase that comes down, but it's just a wooden staircase that you have to run up. And so I'm booking it up this staircase because literally the only thing I have to do is this. I'll just do it for you. It's real simple. I literally have to just come and go. That's it. That's it. I literally just have to come and look as though I've missed someone or something. And I missed it. I was late. And what's interesting to me about this story, which I didn't consider, I mean, yeah, I'm late, right? But what I really didn't consider was the fact that the people on the stage, the two people in that scene who say a line, and they're ensemble members, and they've been doing it for years. For years. And same lines, same time. Not robotic, but just like it's rote. And so one of the people who was in the scene who said her line, whatever Ozian line she was supposed to say, and then the other person said her line, she was telling me, she's like, it's been so long since I've been that afraid because I literally said my line and she said her line and I looked at her and I didn't hear whatever it is that you were it just was there was this just pregnant pause. She said it felt like an hour passed by, and the only thing she said to the person across, the mics were off, so no one in the audience could hear it. She said, "Oh no!" And so, man, I certainly gave them a slight run for their money for sure. So if you just joined us, we're talking about a few stories from Beyond Oz, some backstage secrets. And let's see, let's go to the comments here. Yes, they did not take away my Xbox. I was very surprised that they actually they didn't take away rather my Xbox. I just got a little, the stage manager. Oh my God, MJ. The stage manager is just this, gum chewing, no nonsense, just amazing stage manager who's been doing it forever, who's heard everything. I mean, like the kind of stage manager who's like, look, if you need a mental health day, it's totally cool. You just call me and let me know in time and I'll take care of you. Like, amazing. And so she came in, she's like, let's not do that again, shall we? I said, I won't. And that's it. That's it. And that's the warning shot across your bow, to say the least. But she's really awesome, and I hope that she's still there doing her thing because she's really great. So, did you do Wicked with Dee Dee Magno Hall? No, I did it with Christine Dwyer and Jenny Barber, who I love to call Jenny Beans. Christine, both of them are just. I mean, you cannot be in the role of the witches and not be outstanding. I mean, it's just those two roles, having never sung them, but watch them being sung and seeing the type of women that fill those roles are there. They are. There's that Jenny Barber in the middle and Christine Dwyer on the outside there. Oh, look at us. We were all so much younger back then. Man, that was those two women, Jenny and Christine, are phenomenal people, phenomenally talented actors and vocalists. I mean, those two roles, that dress that she's wearing right there in the middle, Glenda is wearing in the middle, weighs 40 pounds. That there's a special, or one of them, that might be the smaller of the two, but the bubble dress that she comes out in weighs 40 pounds, so much so that there's a special harness that is underneath the dress that she has to wear just to support her in the actual dress itself. And then she got to come down the bubble and do it on a rake and then sing all those things. Elphaba is that role where there are times when an Elphaba will come at intermission, or wait a minute, no, it's just there's a break that Elphaba has just before she sings the big number where she flies. And there's a break there where an Elphaba, if she knows that she vocally physically, mentally, spiritually cannot sing that song and will blow her voice out and not be available for future shows, much less the second half of the show, they switch Elphabas. And nobody knows it because it's the green girl. And the green is the great equalizer on that stage. And barring, physical differences, noticeable physical differences, most people can't tell that the Elphaba has switched. So then that understudy Elphaba goes on, sings that, and all that, all that stuff. And then at intermission, and people are like, oh, she's flawless, and they're clapping their asses off for her. And then at intermission, they come on and say, playing the role, I don't know, like it's a CB radio, they're playing the role of Elphaba for the second half of the show is so-and-so. And everyone's like, oh. Meanwhile, they were just going bananas for that very same person who was flying and singing their faces off. So it is just a whole monolithic production in and of itself. And I have a few more things, a few more stories, just little anecdotes that I want to share with you. The costumes, as you saw 26 minutes ago, in that the costumes are so intricate and beautiful and detailed, where maybe only the first 5 rows can see them. But there are dresses that are $30,000 dresses. Yes, those costumes. Go do yourself a favor and Google this Wizard of Oz costumes, because if you like fashion, if you like costuming, if you like any sort of just beautiful art, every one of those costumes are beautiful works of art. It is amazing, and like only the first 5 rows get to really experience it. But the bubble dress and Elphaba's dress, they weigh 40 pounds. There was a number that Fierro used to do called Let's Go to the Party, I think it was called. And they made these $30,000 dresses for this entire, $30,000 dresses for this entire huge dance scene. The number got cut. But those dresses now make a feature as literally they just cross the stage. And boom, they get taken off. And then somebody gets into another outfit. It's wild. It's absolutely wild to think. And so my costuming story was when I went, they have had over the years so many Fierros, and they keep all the costumes from all the Fierros. And so they've had so many Fierros from so many different companies in the US, around the world, whatever, that they literally in New York City have a entire floor, maybe even 2, devoted just to racks and racks in the sky, down everywhere, of clothing and costumes from the show, because they made so many to fit so many different people. So my very first costume, and they decided to make me a custom costume, because they wanted to have a new one that was for someone that was my size. And so I was like, oh, great. But I literally went and I was looking through like racks upon racks. I saw Leo Norbert Butz's costume. I mean, all of the Fieros that had come before me had costumes. And so I was like, oh my goodness, I got to see this. And then somebody's going to go look and somebody's going to see my costume up there, which is just kind of awesome and blows my mind. And it's just such a lineage of people. And I look and I can go see, I think the original Elphaba and Glinda costumes are in the actual Gershwin itself. They're in these, I'm like, they're literally sitting in the hallway in some basement sort of thing downstairs, but they get put out on display. And it's like, I don't know. It just gets me as a complete and utter theater nerd for sure. But yeah, so there's a lot of wonderful costumage, and each one of these things gets tailored specifically for me and for the actor involved. And it's lovely. Look at that hair. Look at that short hair. Like, I miss it. I miss it. This thing has a mind of its own for sure. I was going to tell you about my first performance, but really at the end of the day, we're about 30 minutes in. This has been a few stories from Oz. I think I'm going to wrap things up a little bit here. My children, it's 9:31. It's actually my kid's bedtime. But before I go, thank you so very much for listening to my stories from Beyond Oz. Thank you for your questions. Hi, Sharon Nicole, performer and singer. Go on, girl. Look at you. You and your sister there. Love it. So anyway, like I was saying, I am going to go put my children to bed, but thank you very much for watching this show. It's day 26. I was just talking to Chuck a little while before the broadcast. I'm like, I can't believe we've been doing this for 26 days. It has been epic and varied, and I've been in Georgia. I've been here at home. The curtains traveled. Oh man, told a lot of great stories, but I'm really excited to roll into the final few days of this Facebook Live challenge. If you would like to see more live shows like this, and you are a performer, a singer, actor, or a dancer, won't you register for the Mindset Mastery Facebook group? The link is above this video if you're on Facebook, below it if you're on YouTube. It is a community of singers, actors, dancers, performers of all kind who are having a conversation not just about surviving the entertainment industry shutdown, but thriving, growing, being better than you were before the industry entertainment shutdown. I feel like, for all the challenges that we face with the COVID-19 crisis, I feel that there is a silver lining, and there's an opportunity to look within and take time to grow, to really analyze the things that might be holding you back from the success that you deserve, really the success that we all work so hard for in the business. Every single day with dance classes, singing, acting, all the things, all the things we do. Well, inside of the Facebook group, we're having conversations about, okay, what is the opportunity here? How do we grow? How do we talk about mindset as well as skill set? And so it's very exciting. The doors are open. All you have to do is click on the link above or below this video to register. And there is some great free content in there. There's some paid courses that we're going to be rolling out over the next few weeks and months, and it's a beautiful thing, and I'm excited about it. I'm excited to meet all of you and to see more of what you bring to the table and what we can all accomplish over the next however long it's going to be before we can all get out and get clapped at again. I'm ready for somebody to clap at me. Thank you very much. So, okay, that being said, thank you very much for watching day 26 of my 30-day Facebook Live challenge. This has been a lot of fun. I hope that you all have a wonderful night, and I will see you tomorrow for day 27. It's going to be good. I'll see you soon.